Hey Robert, I'm going to do this via video. I hope it's alright. I want to make sure first and foremost of all, because you become, when I say you, I mean us, frequently, by the way, sort of, you don't see these anymore, the squiggles, as you start working on papers. And make sure you do not lose your sensitivity to the red and blue squiggle lines. This is an indication here that this is just a little bit misspelled. So I'm going to highlight it, right click it, and it is fixed. If this was going to be, and let me pull this up on my thing, a paper that you turn in general, the layout would be for APA, and that's going to be 1 by 1 by 1. Normal is the setting here. The other thing you would do is make sure that it is in Times New Roman. I do consider this to be probably one of the most unreadable fonts, but it is the one that is loved. It also will be 12 point, and that will always be true. I am going to go here and just kind of go over references in the real world would actually have its own page. References is not highlighted, even if there's one thing, is still plural, and you have that right. Now if we're looking at APA citation, I'm going to start underneath here. I hope this method is okay with you, by the way. Anyway, Jan, comma, Tucker, comma, J. And with authors with APA, it's last name, first initials. One of the reasons for that is to make sure there's some sort of gender parity. There are some studies that found sometimes that men were cited more than women. And APA likes to be even and address things equally, so this is one of the methods for doing that. Now, I'm not sure what the date is on this, so I'm actually going to go look at that. I'm going to put you on hold. I can see from your page as a last major update of this time, so I'm going to put that into your reference. When you're looking at a page, sometimes it may have one date, but it may have an update page. This is often true for things like on the CDC, where it's about a disease. They might have written a general thing but updated it. When you're doing your references, take that update date, not the original one, but the most current one in use. Over here, this is how I'm going to interpret it. 2016, comma, March, never ever abbreviate a month in APA, 29, in parentheses, period. The next thing will be your title. In APA, nothing is capitalized but the first word. I'm glad it's doing that for me. The first word, a word after a colon, and a proper noun or noun phrase. In this case, we see that the only thing that should be capitalized is the big G in grade. Now, when we're one of the other things when we're reciting a website that we need to pay attention to, might this page be changed? If it's a PDF or a standard image or something that's going to be unchanging, or a newspaper article that's kind of anchored as it is, you will not need to put a retrieval date. But as you can see, this looks like sometimes people come back in and fix this page. So we're going to put a retrieve date because this is this is information that may change. Retrieved on, and we're going to put today because that's where I'm working at anyway. And you spell out the whole word 2017 from, and then we put your piece here. HTTP, and yes, you do put the whole thing. And gradeinflation.com. And you put no period behind it. Now, to make it perfectly correct, I highlight it, I go to paragraph, it's going to be double spaced, and it's going to have a hanging indent. Bam. I'm going to take this out. See that? Now, I'm going to go here because this also should be double spaced. I'm going to right click, paragraph, double space, okay. Alright. So now let's look at the actual thing. These are APA skills that you may or may not have. I don't think you do yet, so these aren't critiques. These are just picking up things so you can do them in the future. According to the introduction, the article leans more than through grade inflation. APA does not adore this type of thing, kind of highlighting it. If you do it once, and then never use it again, that probably will work. So this is okay. Sometimes you might look at doing italicized or just avoiding it entirely. Whew, I'm sorry, I was interrupted there. How recordings compiled on gradeflation.com. The college student, All right, so this is what we would do here. Now, instead of recording, by the way, your transitions, like all this, beautiful, exquisite even. So I'm going to change this here. So what I added was Tucker, which is a reference, an in-text reference to this Tucker 2016. You don't need the month here. Tucker found let's get rid of this. Tucker found the college student has the current, I'm going to put current, you can fix it. I think current may be what the current college student has the same level of intelligence as a high school student in 1950. Now, I'm not going to go into it now, but it may be that it may need to be the 50s or spelled out in a different way in the APA. That's one of the things it does. It does really go over style, but this isn't something I would grade on. It's just something to think about when you're writing your dissertation. This determines that students today spend more time partying than studying. As we have this here, so while we're beginning, it follows through. You could also go, we could go Tucker continues. So all these places where you've previously said things like the article, the thing, start getting a habit of saying Tucker or the authors, and we're going to go over more of that on Monday. But Tucker, so the United States to that of Hong Kong, as my watered down teaching experiences. Okay, we'll go with that. So diving deeper into this article, the reader begins to learn the theories why blah blah blah. So what you're missing here is you're actually missing a reference. You're missing a reference from the other article. The article that was assigned, I can't remember the name of it completely. I know it's in there. So you're missing that reference, and if there's things up here that has to do with that article, you don't have those in there. So I know the article is about citations for it, so I'm just going to put hits here. So I'm assuming, I'm not sure how you put it together, you read the article that you were assigned and then you use this for more information. So make sure you include the original article and the in-text citations. This may be where this is. I'm not really sure. I think this may be where this fell apart. So, for example, according to the College Board, okay, so we need to know where the College Board is cited. Now, if this is inside of the missing reference or Tucker, this is how you would have to account for that. Unless you, because if not, College Board needs to be down here in your references. So I'm just going to put College Board. Administrative reference, College Board. But it may be, I'm sorry for the dead space there, it may be that you read it in something else, and if that is true, it would be as cited in Tucker 2016 or the other article. That would be how you could deal with that, and definitely use College Board here because it let us know it's a reference to College Board inside of this. Okay, I don't know if that makes sense, but I'm just going to leave that there. So that is awesome. You're heading in a great direction. Your transitions are gorgeous. You have a great critical thinking style. Have you ever downloaded the data? So we're going to fix this. We're going to turn it into paragraph, double space, and there you go. We're going to fix your reference. This again would be on its own page, but this is awesome for this. We're missing, well, we're missing references here. So I'm going to go there. Hang on. Okay, I see you pulled this from a .edu, which is awesome. You found a library. I like to believe, hopefully, they're always awesome. And hey, this is actually really a great little article. Look at this. Too bad we're not going to talk about this in class. So what I'm looking for is like, who owns this page? Hey, look at this. It's the University of Arizona. They have it through the Board of Regents, but this will be how we begin our reference. I feel confident with that. So I'll show you what I'm doing in a minute. It calls itself the University of Arizona in this legal situation, so I'm going to keep up with that. My silence is me typing to the right. We have a 2018 copyright date. We'll go with that if there's no other numbers up in the top. I did not see any. Then we need a title for this. Data management resources. Data organization. When you see something like that, it's okay to make your own subtitle, and I'll show you what I mean in a minute. When you're using a title, absolutely nothing is capitalized except for the first word, a word after a colon, which we're creating with the other piece. And that looks pretty good. I'm going to show you in a minute. Now, this page is likely to change because it has objects that will change. It's a university, so you see where I am right now. So I'm going to do retrieved on date on this because it has those software packages and other things may change or be updated. You know how it goes. This is your business. Retrieved on September 12th. I'm going to press from this, and then I'm going to highlight it, right click, paragraph, double space, hanging indent. Okay. So now you can understand from the other, if we have this here, we have to have an in-text citation up here. So I'm going to see, this is called data organization. That is not a proper noun phrase. So I'm going to get rid of that. I'm sorry, I'm coughing a little bit. Major files. So get rid of those. Those are not phrases. I'm going to let you fix the rest of them. Maybe there. According to their category school, I probably wouldn't capitalize that either. I have what's called micro files. Yes. Argosy. Yes. I would put university from LaSalle Computer Learning Center. Yes, that is a proper noun and capitalize. Micro is not. I'm just going to knock that out and leave the rest for you. In conclusion, make sure you fix this. I'm just going to highlight it. I'm going to highlight the other piece too. Hang on. It's a very effective way. Alright, so we haven't actually cited this thing, but you used it. So let's look at this. So in a way, did you actually use this article? You do mention up here, it seems like a lot from you. Personally, you can self-cite yourself if it was written down in a blog or something, by the way. But I don't think you haven't really brought that article or pieces of the article. What I think is significant about that article is I might add, I'm going to copy this over. I'm going to put it down here for you to synthesize or paraphrase or something. That this part here, I'm going to put quotes around it, so I would somehow put that in there and mention that these file, because you mentioned up here some file renaming applications, why don't you actually bring them in, and then you could say you got it from here, at which point you would make your sentence, and then your sentence would follow University of Arizona 2018. I'm sorry about that. 18 in parentheses, period. Okay, so you're going to need to add text citation and identify what you used from the source. That's a key part of making sure that you don't get accused of plagiarism or other things. You might have crunched all this up. A lot of this in a way is from you, but if you're using resources, you need to use the resources, show them, and attribute them, and I think everything will be fine. I hope this is what you're asking me for, because I think everything is really good. a lot of this I'm showing you is somewhat in the chapter, but something we'll be talking about more. And this is 15 minutes long. I hope it was helpful. Let me know if you have any questions, and I look forward to seeing your final piece. Thanks a lot, Robert.